we decided to create a 12-week empowerment class just to kind of help support people through the pandemic. And at the end of the 12 weeks, we're like, oh my goodness, we can't stop this. We need to keep on going. But because what was happening, women from across the world were coming. It's where we met Deborah. It's where we met Carmen McPherson. It's where we met Denise. We had women coming in from Australia, from Asia, from the Caribbean, from across Europe. And we just couldn't stop because the connections were so great and people were making awesome moves. And that's one of the reasons why I suggest to you all the time, go to LinkedIn, update your profiles. It's why at Strategy Day, I said to the women, look, I'm going to support you. I'm going to get you some headshots. Use the headshots to upgrade your profile so that you can start connecting with different people and increasing your capacity for more. So this is what we were doing on the Navigating Life platform. Out of the Navigating Life platform, one day I just put out a challenge. I said, who wants to share a story about how they navigated a challenging season of life, but more importantly, how they overcame that season? How did you overcome that challenge? And 37 amazing, courageous women stepped up to the challenge. Janet McNeish is one of them. Charmaine Dawkins, I can see you on the line. There might be some others, but I'm across 2 screens today, so I can't see everybody's name. But they are some of the women who stepped up to the challenge to share amazing stories about navigating the challenges around mindset, identity, relationships, health, grief, and loss, motherhood, change, and emotional roller coasters. All 3 books were launched online during the pandemic. They all went to Amazon #1 bestseller. Woohoo! So the books are available on Amazon if you'd like to grab or purchase your own copy. They are available in paperback and on PDF. And what's really important about this, is that sometimes women in your space are looking for stories of overcoming, looking for real life stories, people that they can tangibly reach out to, people that they can see, know, like, and connect with about how they've navigated this particular season. So these stories have been captured and they are timeless. So feel free to purchase your copy from Amazon. All right, so we're all here because we are navigating life. I'm so proud of this graphic. I feel so pleased with myself because this really kind of captured what I want us to kind of have a look at. And you may recall a couple of weeks ago, I was sharing a story about a picture that I posted on LinkedIn that for me represented the calm and commotion of life. And this particular image here that you see kind of captures that, right? At the moment, everybody is in a very different space of life. We are navigating calm whilst having to steer through some commotion. And this image here just says, we've got to find our way. You can see right back, for those of you with really, really good eyes, in the back of that picture, it almost looks like you can see some land, right? Land represents the goal. Land represents the target. Land represents the place where you are sailing or steering towards. And what this looks like is, regardless of your predicament, you can't stop in the middle of the ocean. You're navigating life. You cannot stop in the middle of the ocean because you are en route. You are en route to where it is that you're going. You are en route to your target. You are en route to the goal. You are en route to the prize, whatever it is that you are working towards. And all of my Strategy Day people are en route to a 10K target. Come on. You are en route to a 10K target. Last week, I gave you a massive goal. I know it was huge, to make sure that you can pull that 360-day goal. Many people are saying to me, yeah, I want to make an extra £10,000 over the next year. No, make it in 90 days. You heard Dr. Zena talk about this. Bring your 1-year goal and turn that into a 90-day goal, and let's stay focused. And one of the ways that you can stay focused is by navigating life. One of the ways that you can stay focused is by joining me on Saturday mornings to talk about tips, tools, and tactics of how you can navigate life. So I decided to show you a really quick snapshot of what happened on Saturday. For those of you who weren't able to make it, we had a room packed with amazing women sharing incredible stories. They were taking pictures. They were tasked with creating video footage for their social media. They were tasked with connecting up with each other, to form accountability groups, to share with each other, to collaborate, to talk. You heard Dr. Zena talk about her collaboration with Claire. But here's the thing. I also shared about your personal success equation. And in your personal success equation is your association. Now, if my husband was here, he would say to you, if you hang with turkeys, you'll be dead by Christmas. And for those of you in the States, that means you've got up until Thanksgiving. That's roughly 10 months. But here's the thing. You've got to be able to understand who is it that you're connecting with? Where are they? And one of the ways how you find those good people is by hanging out where other good people hang out. You can't expect to elevate your thoughts. You can't expect to elevate your actions. You can't expect to elevate your mindset if you are staying in the same places. So strategy day is a good place for people to come and hang out, to connect, and to make those new associations. So what I want to talk about today is I want to kind of look at or ask you some questions about your January. And then for those of you who are supercharged and super ready, I want to talk to you about abundance, because for me, abundance is my theme for the year. Abundance is my theme for the year. And I want to share some insights with you about that. We're also going to be talking about, well, if abundance is the theme, then how do we release and radiate abundance? And then we're going to round off with characteristics of an abundant life for those of you who really want to get super started and add something different to your month, to your week. So let's talk about abundance for a moment. Now, it's interesting that when we speak about abundance, we're talking about, I believe that abundance starts in the mind, all right? Abundance starts in your mind. We're talking not only about wealth, not only about richness, not only about lavishness, but let's talk about your prosperity. Let's talk about abundance in assets. Let's talk about abundance in your provision, in your possessions, in success, in your fortune, abundance in expansion, abundance in ownership, abundance in your belongings, the things that you own, the things that are in your gift to give away, abundance in your property, abundance in your estate, abundance in your rights, in your titles, the things that you own, abundance in finance and cash, abundance in your ability to increase, abundance in your investments, in your savings, in your business, in your stocks and shares, in your insurance, in your supply. We are forever evolving. What does abundance mean to you? What does abundance look like to you? If you are on a journey, many of you have written your goals for December 31st. I know you. I know that you wrote down your goals. I know you've prayed over them. I know that you've positioned yourself and said, right, this is what I want to achieve over the next year. But part of that requires a new mindset. Part of what you are praying for, you have to put the practical steps in place to prepare for what you are praying for. And to me, that looks like abundance. What do you want to have in abundance? What do you want to do in abundance? What do you want abundance to look like? What does abundance actually mean? If you're talking about calling those things into existence, if you're talking about speaking those things that are not as though they were, then there is an element of abundance that will be required. You want abundant, and sometimes people say, yeah, I don't want much. Well, how can you bless others if you don't have much? Because that means you want to be able to bless them from the overflow. I need more. I need an overflow. I need my cup to be full and my saucer to be full, because I want to be a blessing from the overflow of abundance. I want to have more than enough. I want to have more than enough. Abundance said, in order for me to be a blessing, I have to have more than enough. And more than enough is an attitude. More than enough is an attitude. Abundance thinks about, talks about, acts about more than enough. Long gone are the days for us just to be satisfied. Oh, I just want enough. Oh, just give me a little. No, I need to have more. I need to have a lot, because the age and stage of life where I am, I want to be able to be a blessing. And in order to be a blessing, I need to have more. Everybody just type more in the chat box. Everybody just type more in the chat box. I need to have more, because I don't want to be taking from my children's inheritance to give to somebody else. That's not smart stewardship. That's not wise stewardship. We need to have enough. We need to have more than enough. But here's what I learned. Abundance is about moving from not enough is moving from just enough. It's moving towards more than enough. I've told you to type more in the chat box because some of you are moving from not enough, moving from just enough, moving towards more than enough. It's a psychological process. Abundance starts up here. It starts in your mind. Abundance starts in your mind. When I say abundance starts in your mind, I mean it because it's an attitude. It's about your understanding of sustainability. It's an attitude. It's about the way how you think. It's about understanding of all the trees in the Garden of Eden. There was an abundance. There was enough of all the trees. It's an attitude of all the things that you have. It's an attitude. It's a way of thinking. It's about sustainability. It's about resource of everything that you have. What resource do you have in your hands? I want my cup to be full and running over. There needs to be more than enough. I want the basket, my store basket. I want there to be enough leftovers. I want there to be enough so that I can share, so that I can give lavishly, not sparingly, not meager, not with reservation. But in order for that to happen, I'm trying to reinforce the point that if you want to be a blessing to others, you have to have abundance. I want to make sure that when we talk about abundance, I have abundant resource, abundant supply, abundant wealth, abundance, abundance, abundance. Is this making sense? Let me just see some thumbs on the reaction buttons. Yes, Gozan, I see you. Yes, Elaine, I see you. Yes, Charlene, I see you. Make sure you're safe. 2 hands on the wheel, please. Yes, Janet. Yes, Sharon, I see you. This is a mindset shift. If you want to be a blessing, if you want to be blessed, yes, Pam, yes, Dorothy, I see you. You want to be a blessing, then you've got to think abundance. So let me talk you through some abundance insights that I want you to start enveloping, that I want you to start, that I want you to embody in your life. Nothing invites abundance more effectively than gratitude. Nothing invites abundance more effectively than gratitude. So start thinking, what do I need to be grateful for? There are things in your life right now, in your home, in your families, your finance. Look at your bank account. I'm thankful for what I have, but I need some more. I'm grateful for what I have, but I need some more. I'm grateful for my health, but it needs to be better. I'm grateful for my faith, but I need to upgrade. I'm grateful for the things that I have, but I need to upgrade. So let's be grateful and demonstrate gratitude for what we have. But at the same time, you're going to be working towards more. Remember, I showed you the picture of the boat sailing. You don't want to stay right where you are. You are in an ocean of life. And in that ocean of life, you have to determine which direction am I steering the ship. And the key to abundance, Marion Williamson said this, the key to abundance is meeting limited circumstances with unlimited thoughts. Sometimes your circumstances limit you. Sometimes you're not sure of where to go. I've only got £10. I've only got £100. I've only got £1,000. Our circumstances are limited. I don't have enough of this. I don't have enough of that. I don't have enough opportunities. I'm looking for something bigger, better, faster, wiser. I need a new job. I need a new house. I need a new way of thinking. I need a new methodology. So you are met with life, with the reality that there are limits on your progress. You have to meet that limited progress. You have to meet that limited progress with unlimited thoughts. Think bigger, think bolder, think wider, think more expansively. And one of the ways how you do that is by connecting up with other people who have the ability to speak life into your situation. That is what Strategy Day is about. It's about connecting with people. It's about putting yourself in an environment where your limited circumstances meets the unlimited thoughts of other people. That's what iron sharpens iron means. That's what you stepping out of your comfort zone means. Pulling yourself out so that you can start thinking abundance. It's not enough to know or even to write about abundance. This is what Timon was saying earlier on. It's not enough to know it or write about it. We all have journals. We all write in our journals. We all meditate. We all pray. It's not enough. You must be abundant. You must live abundant. And I said to you earlier on, abundance starts up here. Abundance starts with your thinking. Abundance starts with your thought process. Abundance starts with the thoughts that you have about your situation and how you can pull yourself away from the negativity of the limited thinking that is trying to incarcerate your mind. Abundance is not a number or an acquisition. It is a recognition of enoughness. I just love that. I love that because it's about me recognizing what am I bringing to the table, and am I thinking abundant? Am I thinking just enough? Am I thinking not enough? Or am I thinking more than enough? Remember, I shared this with you. It's a psychological process. It requires a psychological shift in order for you to get to abundant thinking, in order for you to start thinking. Many of you have written down goals, plans, actions, ideas, thoughts, concepts, dreams, your vision that you want to achieve for this year. We are now in February. Part of the reason, part of the thing that you must do is adjust your mindset, adjust your thinking strategy, adjust what you are doing in order to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Now, I said to you, abundance starts in your mind. And one of the reasons why, please do feel free, if you haven't done so already, to take a screenshot of this, because over the next couple of weeks, I want you to use this to guide yourself. Use this to help yourself bring balance, to bring equilibrium to whatever it is that you are doing. Abundance starts with your mind. It starts with your thinking. What am I thinking about my fitness? What am I thinking about my faith, about my family? What am I thinking about my dreams, my goals, my vision, the things that I am working towards? Are my thoughts taking me uphill or are they pulling me down? Have you ever found yourself in a situation and you're trying to remain positive, you're trying to remain hopeful, you're trying to remain focused, and I've heard somebody refer to them as the little foxes that spoil or steal the vine. Those thoughts. Janet is a counselor. You know, I'm sure she'll tell you there are other counselors. We had Leon Berry on the line sharing about this, who will tell you that you have to be in charge of your thoughts. You have to determine, what am I thinking today? And even though you may have the best made plans, there is nothing to stop a thought of negativity from coming into your mind. Nothing can stop that thought of negativity from coming into your mind. Your power, ladies, your skill is to not allow that thought to fester, not allow that thought to stay rooted in your mind. So maybe you can't stop it from coming. You can't stop the thought from appearing, but you can stop it from sitting there. You can stop it. You can't stop birds. You've probably heard that saying before, from flying over your head. I despise pigeons. I don't even want to walk next to them. Oh my goodness. I don't even want to see them. Oh, they make me cringe. I don't even want them near me. I can't stop them from flying over my head, but I can stop them landing on my head. Do you understand? I can't stop them from flying over my head, but I can stop them landing on my head. That's your thoughts. You can't always stop the thoughts that come into your mind, but you can stop them from festering. And if you've got big ideas, big goals, big dreams, big intentions, then you've got to make sure your thoughts are taking you uphill. So the question I'm asking you today is, what are you thinking? In every area of your life, you should be having things, write them down. I remember when just before I was preparing to have surgery for cancer in 2019, I had to have a mastectomy. I remember I knew that there was going to come a time where I couldn't gather my thoughts and I wasn't going to be able to fight the pressure that would come along with having a life-altering cancer diagnosis. So in preparation, what I did was I started to write down some prayers. I started to write down positive sayings, that when my thoughts couldn't be positive, when I didn't have the strength, when I didn't have the courage, when I didn't have the inner drive to do this, All I knew that I needed to do was go to my book and read what I had written. I had prepared for the negativity. I had prepared for the weakness. I had prepared for when I knew that I wouldn't be strong. All I needed to do was go to the book. So I used to walk around with this book just in case I was caught off guard. One of my friends, her daughter, Shanice, she wrote me some cards. And so it was thin enough for me to carry it around with me, so thin enough for me to carry it to the hospital with me. And she like literally made cards, one for every day over a couple of days, over a 5-day period, so I could have a fresh element or a fresh word of positivity that I could read every single day in order to help me through tough situations. What I'm saying is the power of your mind has the power to steer and guide you. That's why it's important to think right, because your thinking affects your mood or your emotions. Again, Janet will back this up. Leon, he was here a couple of weeks ago. They will back this up. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counselor, but I know this to be true. Your mood has the capacity to impact your thinking. Your mood has the capacity to impact the very aura that you carry. If you walk, have you ever walked into a room and you think like nobody has said anything, but you can just feel the ice in the air? You can feel the mood of the room like, I don't think this is a room for me. I don't think I want to stay in this space. Nothing is growing here apart from negativity, and I don't want to be in this space. Your mood sets the tone or sets the atmosphere. And if we want abundance, then we've got to train ourselves. We've got to train our mind. We've got to train our thoughts to have uphill habits, because your thinking will impact your mood. Your mood will impact your mouth. Everybody just type the word mouth in the chat box. Famous song. I shared this with you last week. I think it was Bob Marley. Oh, by the way, yesterday I went to see the Bob Marley exhibition. His movie will be out, I think it's on the 14th of February. Absolutely incredible. Really, really great. But I was reminded yesterday of the words of one of his songs, which is also a psalm. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable. What are you saying about yourself? What are you saying about your plans? This is important to speak life, speak abundance about your plans, about your ideas, about your concepts. Last week at Strategy Day, I had everybody stand to their feet and make a declaration that they will be making £10,000 in the next quarter. I remember as I shared this with everybody, there are a few gasps in the room like, oh my goodness, can we really do this? Yes, you can. You just have to think about it. You just have to position yourself accordingly and then put in the work. Let me be clear, £10,000 will not be falling from the sky. I have never seen $50 notes raining from the sky. You have to do the work. You have the power to get wealth. You have the power to do it. But if you don't believe that you do, if you don't think that you can, you will get whatever you think about. And what I'm suggesting to you today is that you let your mouth and your words align with where you are going. Let your mouth and your words align with the things that you are praying for, align with the things that you are planning for. Now, let me be very, very clear. This is not easy. I'm not saying, yep, sit back and in 2 days' time, you're going to get £10,000. No, what I'm saying to you is when you put in the work, it doesn't matter the plans you make. It doesn't matter the prayers that you pray. If you do not put in the work, it will not happen. You've got to be prepared to work. Now, I know some of you are saying to me, look, Claudine, I'm 60. I'm not cut out for all of this. I'm not ready for this. I'm slowing down. Don't slow down. Do it for your grandchildren. Do it for your godchildren. Do it for your nieces and your nephews. Do it for your legacy. Do it for your posterity. We're talking abundance, 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 because your mind impacts impacts your mood, impacts your mouth, impacts your motion or your action. You see what I've done there? All the M's. I'm trying to make this easy for you to remember. Your mind, your mood, your mouth, and your motion. What are you doing? After today's Navigating Life session, after Strategy Day last week, after this session, many of you have been coming here Saturday after Saturday, every Saturday. You've invited your friends, you've invited your colleagues. You come Saturday after Saturday. What are you doing with what you hear? I share with you all the time. Take a screenshot of something, go to LinkedIn or go to Facebook, take a screenshot, share something that you have learned, tag me in so that I can like and comment on your post, so that what you are doing is putting action to your words. Don't allow your actions to betray your words. Don't allow your actions to betray your thoughts. Because when I by that, what I mean by that is this: we say good things, but we don't always do good things. We say good things, but we don't always do good. Oh, I'm going to do right. That's it. I'm going to do this every single day. No, you're not. No, you're not. You say that you will, but you don't. You say good ideas, but you don't act on those good ideas. It's important that if you are going to radiate and release abundance, you have to give yourself permission to step up and to step out. Give yourself the permission to step out of your comfort zone. Give yourself the permission to do something different. Give yourself the permission to be something different. I know that some of your family and friends have had you incarcerated in a certain way of living. They've had you incarcerated, or they position you as the little girl, or the person who doesn't know much, or the person who hasn't achieved much. Step out, brush yourself off, brush that negativity from off of you, brush that off and step up and step out. If you want to release abundance for 2024, February 2024, you've got to be able to step out of your comfort zone. Give yourself the authorization to take a leap of faith into an abundant way of living. Give yourself, listen, wherever you are right now, just give yourself the authorization. Tell yourself right now, I authorize myself. You don't have to ask permission to be great. You don't have to give yourself permission to shine. Do it now. For those of you who are on the 10K, 90-day 10K challenge, give yourself the permission to do something different. Because here's the thing, as you nurture the seeds that you have planted, as you remember the seeds that you are planting requires discipline and consistency. Many of you are in a planting season. Some of you are in a planning season, you're gathering ideas, you're speaking to people, you're going out, you're organizing things, you're restructuring things. Some of you are in a planting season, and planting season requires you to do something different. Planting season requires discipline and consistency. Planting season requires you to be diligent about what it is that you are sowing. Planting season requires you to pay attention. Pay attention. Planting season requires you to diligently pay attention to the things that you are sowing. Planting season requires watering. If you think about this naturally, I'm not a farmer, but if you think about this naturally, if you plant seeds, you have to attend to those seeds because weeds are growing. I planted in last year. I had an overhaul of my front garden. I wanted a low maintenance front garden. So I got my gardener to put pebbles all out in the front, and I created, or he created for me to maintain, 4 little flower boxes. And I had these grand ideas, Janet, of what I was going to put in these flower boxes. I was so pleased with myself because in my head, this is going to be low maintenance. It's going to be really, really beautiful. Me and my daughter went to the garden centre. We purchased some flowers. She convinced me to buy some lavender, and we bought all these, other beautiful flowers that that I planted. And a month went by and I was, Miss Super Gardener. I mean, I don't have green fingers at all, but I just felt so pleased that every morning I could get up and go and look at my beautiful garden. It just looks so nice. I don't know, for those of you who've got this really nice garden, you look at your neighbours and their garden looks like it should be on a garden show. And then you get to my garden, it's like, oh my gosh, who lives here? Anyway, I had this all fixed. About 2 or 3 days later, what I didn't account for was cats turning my garden boxes into their poop place. They would come and poop there. Oh my goodness. I went away. I was furious. I did some research. How do I stop cats from pooping in my front garden? They said black pepper because it makes them sneeze. So there was me, got all the black pepper out of the cupboards, sprinkling all over my garden. But the reason I'm telling you this, ladies, is because in order for me to maintain the garden of my mind, this is about discipline and consistency. Just because you've done something nice, I've planted beautiful flowers, I've planted beautiful bushes, it still requires maintenance. Planting season isn't let me plant this seed and walk away. Planting season is let me plant this and I have to maintain it. Every day I've got to make sure there's enough black pepper. At one point, Timon, I think she was going to cook. I said, where's all the black pepper? In the garden. Well, I'd sprinkled it nicely to keep the cats away. But here's the point. It requires discipline and consistency. So you've come up with this great idea. You've come up with this idea of a plan, an idea, a concept of something that you want to achieve. You can't just leave it, because if you leave it, the weeds will grow. That's the other thing that I didn't account for. I thought in these boxes, how on earth are the weeds going to get? I didn't plant weeds. I did not plant weeds. I planted flowers. And within a short space of time, the weeds were growing every single day. I had to go out there and was uprooting. I even left a tiny little shovel in my porch so that I wouldn't forget. This is the strategy for maintenance and consistency. Because I wanted my garden, that I had planted beautiful flowers that I was expecting to flourish, I also had to put in a strategy for maintenance. What does a maintenance of my garden look like? I made sure I left a small shovel there. I set times that I would go out and make sure that I would dig up these weeds. And every day I kept on thinking, I was like, how did these weeds get in here? This is you, ladies. This is you with your ideas. You've got some really great ideas, but what we haven't put in place is the maintenance. What we haven't put in place is the strategy. And I'm kind of laboring this point is because I want you to get it. I want you to go away after today with a clear understanding that you need to put a plan in place in order to nurture the seeds that you have planted. Because if you don't put a plan in place, in a couple of weeks' time, the cats are going to come and poop all over your ideas. The weeds are going to grow and strangle your ideas. And what you thought was beautiful in December and January, because you prayed over it and you sprinkled holy water all over your ideas and you've meditated this, you've brought this into manifestation. All that stuff is really, really good. Don't get me wrong. I love Jesus too. But you also have to put the work in. You also have to do what it takes. And doing what it takes means putting a strategy in place with skill, with discipline, with consistency, and aligning yourself with other people who can help keep you accountable. I want you to develop an image of success. What does success look like? Write this down, write the vision, make it plain. What does abundant success look like? What does abundant health look like? What does abundant joy look like? What does abundant peace look like? What does abundant happiness look like? When you have got this clear in your mind, begin to then position yourself to work consistently towards this vision. So whilst you are walking, whilst you are thinking, whilst you are doing the dishes, whilst you are stacking that dishwasher, whilst you are ironing the clothes, whilst you are hoovering, whilst you are telling your children to tidy their room for the 15th time, I'm speaking from experience, whilst you are doing all of these things, you can then be nurturing thoughts that take you on an uphill journey. You can then be nurturing thoughts that take you on an uphill strategy. What I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, many of you will know that my vehicle, my beautiful car, was stolen last year. But I've decided that I'm not getting a car. I've decided to be Ubering for a while. But I'm using that time more than the Uber. The message is about the time. What are you doing with your time? Your thinking time, your creativity time, your innovation time. I'm using my time to think about abundance strategies. I'm using my time to think about how can I achieve the goals that I have set in place? Who do I need to speak to? If I was to ask the people who were at Strategy Day last week, Saturday, one of the assignments that I gave you was to connect up with 5 of the most influential people in your network. How many of you have done that? Oh, Claudine, I didn't because, and we've got a whole list of excuses. My role, ladies, is to help you cancel your excuses. And you turn up every Saturday to have me help you cancel your excuses. I want you to write down the action plan. Cut out the excuses. Cut out the reasons why not. And create reasons why you can. Create reasons why this is good for you. Create reasons why it's important for you to do those things that will help you be what you have been called to be. Create reasons why it's important for you to walk in authority. why it's important for you to walk in abundance, why it's important for you to nurture the garden of your mind, why it's important for you to be consistently positioning yourself towards your vision. I want over the next 7 days that you actively position yourself to speak abundance, because there are 7 characteristics that I took from Jim Wollsteinholm about the characteristics of an abundant life. An abundant life is a life of confidence. You've got to be able to speak life to yourself. Walk in that confident space. Walk in authority. Walk in, I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. Head up, shoulders back. Practice those words. Look yourself in the mirror and practice this thing. Practice makes progress. The more you practice, and there's nothing more beautiful than to see a confident person, a confident woman, a confident man walk into an environment and just own their stuff. Live a life of confidence. Live a life of surety. Live a life that says, I am confident about this. I know who I am. I know what I am doing. And even if I don't, I am going to act like it until I feel it. I'm going to borrow Claudine's confidence until I can cultivate my own. I am going to borrow somebody's confidence in my skill, in my ability. I'm going to borrow somebody else's confidence in my skill, in my ability. I'm going to borrow somebody else's trust in me, somebody else's faith in me, somebody else's certainty in me, until I can nurture my own. Many of you are going for new opportunities. You heard me speak the other day about some of the opportunities that I had gone for. I put on a cloak of confidence. I embody confidence, and I walk straight for that thing. I walk straight towards that target. An abundant life is a life of confidence. An abundant life is a life of peace. It's a state of not being at war. Don't be at war with your mind. Don't be at war with your thought process. Don't be at war with the things that are going on. You know, some people want war, want war with you. Don't engage. Don't engage with the war. Right, that's it. I'm coming for you. This is what I want. You've upset me. You've done this. I'm angry with you. I don't like. Do not engage with the war. Be at peace. Be still. That's when you hear the voice of God speaking to you in the stillness, in the tranquility, in the quietness, in the peace. A life of abundance is a life of peace, a life of stillness, a life of listening and tapping in to what you're hearing God say to you. A life of abundance is a life of joy. I believe joy starts on the inside. It's about your high spirits. It's about your happiness. It's about your pleasure. It's about your delight, your ability to rejoice, your ability to be happy. Don't let nobody steal your joy. You wake up in the morning, thank God it's a beautiful day. I'm going to have a great day. I have a sign above my bathroom. It says it's a great day to have a great day. You need to remind yourself every morning when you wake up, before you look at your social media handle, before you look at what's happening in the world, before you look at the news, because that's just doom and gloom. Remind yourself, today is a great day to have a great day. I'm bringing joy with me wherever I go. I am bringing power with me wherever I go. An abundant life is a life of power, strength, ability, capability, authority. It's your ability to step into courage. It's your ability to step into something new, something different. Courage. Put it on. It's your ability to decide, this is where I am, this is where I want to be, and this is how I'm going to make it happen. This is where I am, this is where I want to be, and this is how I'm going to make it happen. An abundant life is a life of fulfillment. What are you doing to be fulfilled? It's a realization that the performance or the thing that I am doing, I'm able to complete this. I am working towards this. I am going to ensure that whatever it is that I do, whatever it is that I put my hands to do, whatever it is I think about, whatever it is I'm doing, I spoke about this in the life framework wheel, that when you've got those things and you're working towards balance, it brings fulfillment. A life of abundance, or an abundant life, is a life of hope. It's, what are you hoping for? What are you expecting? What are you anticipating? What are you living towards? What are you working towards? What are you praying towards? Make your abundant life embody these characteristics so that you can live a life free from anxiety, a life free from depression, a life free from discouragement, a life free from doubt, a life free from discouragement and all those things that would have or want to pull you down. I want you to embody the characteristics of an abundant life. Because if we go back to this slide here, an abundant life starts in your mind. Then it moves to your mood. It moves to your mouth and your emotions. All of those things bring equilibrium. They bring balance to the way how you choose to live. I want you to have an abundant life. I want you to be able to bless others from your overflow. That's going to be my theme, my personal theme for the rest of the month. I'm talking abundance, abundant in my living, abundant in my finances. I shared with you a couple of weeks ago. I told my husband, my money is pregnant. He said to me, are we having triplets? But I'm talking abundance, abundance in your thinking, abundance in your emotions, abundance in your words, abundance in your actions, abundance in your fitness, and abundance in your faith, abundance in your finances. Make abundance be a part of your life. I hope this has been helpful. I have 2 key actions before we finish up today. MINS stands for most important next steps. Most important next steps. Next week, I'd love you to invite a friend to Navigating Life. It's going to be our last one before we take a 2-week break. I am going to my home in Jamaica for a couple of weeks to sit by the sea, drink in the Caribbean Ocean, take some sun, turn back up the dial of my creativity, and just relax, basically. And then we will resume when I come back. March is a full-on month for me, and I want it to be a full-on month for you. For those of you who attended Strategy Day, look out for some emails from me in the coming weeks, because March is International Women's Month, and I would love for this particular platform to really take a upward turn. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to share a sneak preview of my thoughts. So in the month of March is International Women's Month. I'm setting a target for us to increase our connectivity, and I really want some more international people, some more women from across the world to join the platform, so that when you go out into your breakout rooms, you can have a fuller, more rounded conversation with more women from across the world. So I'm aiming for 300. We generally have 300 women on the platform. When we did a book launch, that was easy because we had lots of people there talking about their books, and it was a book launch, and that was all great. So for the month of March, International Women's Month, I want 300 women on the platform. Strategy Day, ladies, you have an integral part to play in this, because we're going to use this as one of the steps to increase your visibility. We're going to be creating some icons for you so that you can use this to share with your respective networks, so that they can come here. And the idea of them coming here is so that we can number one, connect up with each other, create a more international group specifically for International Women's Day. And let me tell you, let me just make sure I get this correct. The International Women's Day theme for 2024 is Inspire Inclusion. Inspire Inclusion. And one of the reasons why I want to broaden the platform specifically during the month of March is because that as we intentionally inspire inclusion, we are inspiring international inclusion. So I hope that's making sense. We are inspiring international inclusion. And what that does, it opens up our networks, it opens up our conversations, and it opens up opportunities. So Strategy Day, ladies, I've got some stuff coming out to you this week about what that could potentially look like. make sure you've got your profile pictures. And I'm really, really excited about this. But for everybody else on the line, I really would love you to take part and really let's see how we can make this work. The other thing I'd love for you to do is to save the date, 27th of April, for the next strategy day. Save the date. The doors will open shortly. You'll be first to know this. If you've been to strategy day already, you can come again. It will be it's not the same thing. We are working on the second segment of 90 days. And that's the other thing. We need to make sure that you've achieved the goals for the first 90 days, and then we can move on to the second segment of 90 days. So ladies, I hope today has been beneficial for you.